good morning. Thanks for joining our session, and I hope everyone has been enjoying Satellite. My name is Vitor, and I work for the GitHub Solutions Engineering team. This morning, I'm very humbled and happy to host 4 amazing people that are going to teach us how to use their tools to build an interconnected workflow. So before we go into that, I would like to ask each of the panelists to introduce themselves and very quickly to have a glimpse of your tools, to tell us one thing you feel developers quickly fall in love with when starting to use your tools. Andrew?
Hey guys. Wow, that is loud. I'm Andrew Homeyer, the founder of Waffle. The reason teams love Waffle is it's the first time that project management has been made for developers. So we believe that project management has always been made for project managers, and we're actually turning that upside down so that Waffle is one of the first tools that integrates deeply with GitHub so that project management is actually fun for engineers again.
Cool. Is that working? Hello? Hi, I'm Danielle. I work on the Mac platform at CircleCI. And people really like having the control over their build and its environment, as well as our UI and experience around viewing and controlling your build.
Hi, everyone. Mic's not working, I think. So hi, everyone. I'm Jaime from Codacy, CEO and co-founder. So one thing that makes us really excited is that our platform allows developers to be much more optimized in the way that they review code, but really on the way that they focus their attention. So we allow for teams and developers to ship and really concentrate on what matters while developing the software.
Hi, I'm Cory, co-founder, CTO of Rollbar. Rollbar is a full stack error monitoring solution. And the thing that I really love about it is the security that I have. Every time I deploy, I know that I'm going to find something and I'm going to be able to fix it quickly because we provide all the information we need to do that.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks for joining us. So today, we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of a developer that works on this web app web store. And one thing that strikes as missing there is that we don't have any feature, any rating feature. So if I want to see how users have been classifying a book, I really don't have a way to see that. So we're going to use Waffle to plan and track our work, Circle to build and test our code, Codacy to automatically code review that code, and after we deploy to production, we're going to use Rollbar to analyze and debug any runtime issues that are still pending. So, starting with Andrew. Andrew, if I'm that developer starting to work on this feature, how can Waffle help me plan and track that with my team?
Yeah, so let me just show you Waffle. Waffle takes all of your issues and pull requests that live on all your repositories in GitHub and puts it into a simple board interface. So what you're looking at here is the repository that Mona, our developer, and I, and the rest of the team are working in. Inside Waffle, if you look at the URL, it's the same as what the GitHub repo URL would look like too. So let's say that there's many different repositories, and all those different repos can be pulled into a single board, and that's what you're looking at here is all those issues. So as you can see in progress, we have this card where we're adding that ranking feature so that you as a user can go and give a star rating to a book on a list. So I've been pairing with Mona on this feature, and we gave it a size of 5, which can mean 1 day, can mean 5 days. It's point estimation, so Waffle adds a layer on top of GitHub to add some agile flavor to it. And this is part of a bigger milestone, codenamed Shining Stars. So we're about to finish working on this feature, and we're going to open a pull request. So going to GitHub and opening this pull request, all we say is that it fixes number 1. So the issue is number 1. When you open this pull request, what we'll see is within Waffle, it's then moved to the review column, and that pull request is then nested under that issue, and we see that a build is in progress. Now what's really cool is that Mona didn't actually move that issue to the review column. Waffle was working behind the scenes to that for you. So if you look at that pull request again, we'll see that the Waffle bot is actually adding this label, which moves the issue and moves that pull request to the review column. And the Waffle bot also assigned one of us as the owner of that pull request. So Waffle is actually automating the way that the developers track work. So instead of having to go to a separate interface or a separate project management tool, you can stay within GitHub, you can stay within pull request, and just use Waffle as this visual layer so that your whole team knows exactly what someone's working on. They know when something's ready for review. They also know what to work on next. So you have like a ready column and a backlog column. You can customize that workflow to be whatever you want, and it's totally automated. So by using Waffle, it just pulls the information out of GitHub, so your whole team can see what you're working on. This works great for all sorts of sizes of customers, whether you're open source, a startup, or an enterprise. So we look a little bit closer at that pull request and that issue. We'll see that there's a build in progress. So I'm going to hand this back to Vitor and Circle to talk about what's happening behind the scenes.
Thank you, Andrew. I really like the statuses on the card in the bottom. That's really slick. Danny, thanks for joining us. Now that we have the feature underway, how can Circle build and test my code and make my team transparent about those changes?
So let's take a look. So raise your hand if you already are familiar with continuous integration. And how many are familiar with CircleCI? Cool. So for those of you who didn't raise your hands, CircleCI is a continuous delivery integration tool that helps teams ship better code faster. And so, as we saw before, Mona has committed her code on GitHub. And because of the integration with CircleCI, it automatically kicked off a build using the webhooks. And so we really want to help engineering teams be more productive through great tools. And through the process of continuous integration, we can consistently build and run tests on every change that you make to help find and correct issues as soon as they happen. And that helps you get better products to your users faster. And so as part of this, here we see that Mona's tests have failed. And because we passed the JUnit output from the build, we can show you straight away exactly what test failed and how it failed. And so rather than having to comb through like your giant build log and find the cryptic message from whatever testing tool you use, you can just see it and it's great. And so she can immediately go back to GitHub and to the code and see the really obvious change of we just forgot to assign the thing because we wrote the validation and not the actual code. And so she pushes the code and we run another build. This build is running on our 2.0 platform, which is currently in beta. And there are some really nice features of this. So you can configure the size of your build environment and also have full control over your actual build image itself. And so here you can see an example for this. We try and automate a lot of the small and harder tasks you have while giving you a lot of control over your configuration. And so if you've ever had to wait for someone to provision a build machine for you, adding version 2.3.x of this thing because 2.4 breaks everything, or you update your build machine and then this breaks some other team's CI in the other part of this company, and then you just get an email being yo, you broke my build. Or if you're the person that's actually provisioning the build machine, I'm sorry. It's painful. People send a lot of email. And so this is a really nice change. You can just provide your Docker image, your tag, and away you go. And so now you see we've got a green build, and everything is pretty great. And so things are looking good from our side, but Mona's team is trying to generally improve the quality of their code. And so one way they're doing this is through code review, and off to Codacy.
So thank you, Danny. As we know, the build is essential, Jaime, but as a developer, we spend a big part of our time doing code reviews. So I'm really excited to understand how Codacy can reduce that load and improve overall code quality.
Of course. Well, thanks, Danny. Thanks, Vitor. So super excited to be here. So at Codacy, we're focused at really empowering you to optimize as much as we can your time. And I mean really to allow you to review less, improve quality, and merge faster. And we do this by centralizing in one place 4 very important metrics, which are static analysis issues, cast coverage, code duplication, and also code complexity. And so back into the same example where we're looking at. So Mona is creating the pull request and trying to review as much as possible. So we already have that planned. We passed already to a build. And we wanted to make sure now that everything is in check, and so we want to review all the most important parts of a pull request. So Codacy comes in and injects into that pull request all the most important things that you have to do. You have to review in some way, shape, or form. But with Codacy, you don't have to do them anymore. So for instance, best practices, basic security, code style, all of those get automatically injected in your pull request. So you can really focus on what matters, which is really what we aim to do. Furthermore, we introduce pull request status that allows you to say, can we merge or shouldn't we merge right now, right? And so these things got automatically pushed in your workflow in GitHub as you're developing your features. If you click at that link, you get then merged into Codacy, where you can see what we call the pull request quality impact. So you can see all the delta in terms of the 4 main metrics that I've already introduced, and then jump and detail every single one of them, right? We spent a lot of time documenting all the issues, all the problems, all the rules really that we identify with Codacy. And this actually serves the purpose of onboarding new developers or teaching best practices or teaching really new junior developers, so you don't have to do that job yourselves. So really, the idea really is to allow you to focus on your functionality and focus on shipping code and allow you to optimize as much as you can the code review process while maintaining a very good standard of quality. We have other really amazing features like our quality dashboard that allows you to see the historic of any single one of these metrics throughout time, including prediction of your pull requests. As soon as I merge all my open pull requests, where is quality going to be at? And finally, we have what we call a security dashboard that centralizes in one place all the most important security analysis results and alerts, so you can actually be safe while you're producing your software and your projects. And so this is a little bit of what we are as a product, as a platform. We're super excited to be integrated in the GitHub marketplace. And with this, Codacy gives you, as soon as you check everything that Codacy provides as a result, you can see that now you're ready to merge and you're ready to put your code into production.
Thank you, Jaime. So, assuming you've been through this process, now we have the ratings in the bookstore, and that's all we wanted to begin with. So, I believe that this feature has superior quality because it was well planned. It ran our tests, it ran our build, and we used Codacy for a lot of the code review. And unfortunately, we know not all bugs can be caught in this manner, right? So, Cory, we've deployed the new version of the bookstore to production. How can Rollbar help me track and debug all those remaining issues in production?
Thanks, yeah.
Next.
Yeah. All right, so Rollbar is a full-stack error monitoring solution, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But there's a few things that every developer really should know when deploying code to production. First, are they going to know when it breaks? So tailing log files, looking at emails that get sent in for every single occurrence is just infeasible for really large distributions. Second, are you going to know that you're going to have enough information to fix the problem when it does break? And third, are you going to be able to reach out to the customers who are affected? And are they even going to mention that the feature broke? Are they going to know? So Rollbar is a full-stack error monitoring solution, which means that we monitor on the client and the server side. We provide integrations for dozens of languages and all the popular frameworks. We have real-time alerts where you need them, so that means Slack, Datadog, HipChat, and many more. We provide detailed contextual data for every single error. So for web requests, that's not just stack traces. That's all the request parameters, post bodies, headers, local variable data, host info, browser info, operating system info, and a lot more. We hook into your deploy tracking. So wherever you're deploying, whether that be Circle, maybe you have a custom Fabric script, you send that information over to us, and we can help you use that to assign and triage your bugs. And finally, obviously, we integrate with GitHub, source control, and issues. So getting back to the example, we've deployed into production, awesome. However, one of our users, Joe, has found a bug. So they found a bug when they were trying to rate one of the books on their screen here, and the server returned a 500 response. So Rollbar captured that error both on the client side and the server side. And the first thing that happens is a Slack notification gets sent out to your team. The Slack notification has a link back into Rollbar. And at the same time, we created a GitHub issue so that the rest of your team can follow along with the fix in Waffle. Great, so when you come into Rollbar, we try to show you the information that you need to fix it really quickly. So here, there's a lot on the screen, but I'll just highlight a few things. So we link into GitHub at the proper commit revision. We show you all the information regarding all the people who are affected, detailed contextual data on all the requests that went into all the occurrences for this error. We also show you the deploy that the error started happening after. So if one of your engineers is deploying on the weekend, you can you can point at that. And we also show you related items. So this is actually really useful if you have an error that's happening as part of a complex interaction of requests that are coming in. Great, so when you come into GitHub, Rollbar has highlighted the line for you, and using this along with the context data that we've provided, the fix becomes obvious. And in this example, Mona forgot to handle the case where there was no request parameter sent in for the ratings. Cool, so we've got a fix. All you got to do is mention the Rollbar error in the commit message, and on the next deploy, the Rollbar error will be automatically resolved along with the GitHub issue. And finally, one thing a lot of people don't really think about is contacting the users who are affected. Users love this, and when you do it really quickly, they really love it. So Rollbar provides you information about every single person who was affected by a particular error, along with all of the other errors that they were affected, that affected them. So with that, we've finished going through those 3 stages of finding bugs, fixing bugs, and contacting the affected users, and we can go back to developing features.
Yeah, thank you, Cory. And as you see, as you create an issue just there to highlight the error, it goes back to Waffle, and it can be tracked by the team and so on, to Circle and to Codacy and so on. Before we move on to a few questions, I would like you to join me in a round of applause to our beautiful panel. So, a few questions. Starting now with you, Cory, and all the way up to Andrew. What compelled you to join Marketplace on day 0, and how do you think that will help developers build more of these integrated workflows?
Yeah, for us it was obvious to integrate with Marketplace as soon as we could. GitHub is where developers are, and we build developer tools, so that was obvious. Also, GitHub Marketplace makes it really easy to integrate between one developer tool to the next one. And technically, GitHub Marketplace was great for us because it allows us to reduce the scope of requested permissions for each of the repos when a user installs our app.
Very good. Jaime?
Those are really great points. I would add that the seamless transition between GitHub, where you code and review, to getting, in our case, all the most important metrics and all the KPIs to make great code decisions, that allows us to be really close to where you develop your source code. So that was a great point for us, and we're super excited to be part of the marketplace.
Thank you.
Yes. For us, we want to build and provide access to tools that make to really great tools to improve your development workflow, and being part of something that makes it easier for people and lowers that barrier to integrate with all of these great tools, it's something we definitely want to support.
So tens of thousands of engineers have adopted all of our tools. I think the story that we're telling today is that we work better together. So I think having a consistent story where we know that our products work really well together in this ecosystem, that is better for you all to adopt our tools together as well, because we're giving you a better experience. So I think it's, for all of us, this marketplace is amazing because it's amazing for you. It makes it so much easier for you to adopt all these things and make it very consistent.
Thank you. Before we finish, Andrew, any 1 or 2 aspects of Waffle that we weren't able to cover that you'd like to highlight before we close?
Yeah. So I mentioned that the Waffle makes project management better for developers, but we can't just forget about project managers, right? So Waffle also gives developers tools to empower their project manager. So we give you metrics, so you can see how your team performs over time, and also whether you're doing work towards the right goal for the right deadline. So Waffle isn't just for developers; it's also for project managers who want to empower their engineering teams.
So I'm just going to be a little bit biased because I work on a Mac platform, which we recently did a bunch of work on to make your builds for iOS and Mac apps really fast and really stable, which you don't really get to see in something like this because Java land. But yeah, OS 10 CI is something that not many people offer in a way that is really great and reliable. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Great. Thank you, Danny. Jaime?
So we offer as a platform not only a SaaS, so Codacy.com, but also Codacy Enterprise, which can be served on premise for most of the languages out there. So Ruby, Java, JavaScript, PHP, Python, etc. But there's two main features that I really love. One is what we call quality gates that allows you to define settings for your project, like say, I don't want coverage to be X amount over 60%, or quality number of issues to be below a range. So that's a really cool feature. Another one is the way that we essentially allow you to clean code. Let's say, for instance, you have a sprint just for cleaning. We have just a number of views that allow you to sort all your code per number of issues, per number of, coverage number, and so forth. And so this is really designed for that time, a really rare time, that you have to clean your code. So these are a couple of things that are really exciting about our platform.
Thank you, Jaime. Cory?
Yeah, I love this part. So last month we released the first and only compliant error monitoring solution SaaS product. So we're really excited about that. So if you're a financial company or a health tech company, or if you just really have PII that you're concerned about, then we can sign a BAA for you and get you running with the latest and greatest tools. The second one is actually a feature we released last week, and it's the best-in-class instant merging feature. And so I'm really pumped about that. Come talk to me about it after this if you have any questions.
Yeah. Very quickly, and starting with you, Cory. When I go to look for a tool like Rollbar online, one of the first things I check is language and framework compatibility. So can you highlight a few of the popular ones?
Sure. Yeah. So we, as I mentioned, we support dozens of popular languages. So that's Python, Ruby, JavaScript on both the client and the server side. Clojure, Haskell, Java, iOS, Android, the list goes on.
Good, great. Jaime?
Most, if not all of them. So we support also almost all languages, so PHP, Java, JavaScript, Python, Scala, we have lots of Scala as well. I mean, we have big list. Very recent also C#, Go, CoffeeScript. Talking a long time.
Need any in terms of languages and platforms, like you mentioned, Mac, obviously?
Yeah, so with our 2.0 platform, we support anything that you can provide a Docker container for. So be that Haskell, Ruby, JavaScript. If you want it to be fancy, you could probably put MATLAB or something on there, do all your things. And then on OS 10, we primarily support sort of Objective-C, Swift, Electron apps, React Native apps, these kind of things. Yeah.
Thank you. Andrew, this is a tricky one for you.
Yeah, Waffle is language agnostic, which is awesome. We support all of them, guys. Waffle works great for open source. We have open source teams in the US federal government who track their work out in the open. Because they're hired by the government to serve its citizens. We have startups that use Waffle. We have enterprises that use Waffle on premises with Waffle Takeout. We have startups who actually use an open source repo to track just issues out in the open, so that they can do customer support using GitHub issues as well. So Waffle can be used for any project.
Thank you again. Another round of applause for our panel, please.